So we got to start thinking differently. Do you understand? We've got to start thinking differently. When I'm looking at gold in this scenario, I'm thinking the exact same thing. Okay. I would love to take sales here because I don't know if you guys were in a session talking to Sahil about it, but there was lots of wick rejection. No, I was talking to Games about it. If you wanted to sell here, it wouldn't be wrong. But remember on the Monday session, one of my trades I took at a support level, and what happened? It got run and then it went up. But I did get into those buys. Yesterday on the live trading session, what happened? We had that level and I said, oh, this looks good for a buy, but hold on, no. I'm going to wait for it to come deeper. It run, we took the buy, and what happened? It went up. In this situation, I don't want to be thinking and taking trades where I know everybody else is going to be taking these trades. If it comes back and makes a nice double top, then I might look to sell it. But more often than not, I'm going to say, I want this to push one higher, and then I want to jump in a trade. This candle was red on my broker, okay? Now, what am I thinking about? This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that price is pushed off of these lows, the Asian lows. I know price is going to come back to these highs before there's a reaction because of this behavior here. Where would I preferably like to sell? Well, I know I'd much prefer to sell from the highs here, of course, because that's the Asian highs. But if I start to see a wick rejection, I now have a sign. So I'm not selling now, I just have a sign that price is reacting to this level. So I can plot in the level. Now I can either look to sell it immediately, or I can wait for price to peak it first to create that high. And then when given the evidence on the lower time frames, I take the risk that I anticipate that the behavior that price is reacting to this level is peaking as we're pushing bearish. And if I'm right, then I can take the trade back down to, so I need to put it here. So as the candle is bullish, the candle is bullish at this stage, pushing bullish. I'm only expecting it to retrace back to this level here. And once it retraces back to this level here, I have a chance to go break even or take profits or whatever else. And then whatever happens after that happens. Okay. So this is kind of the idea. And the reason why I'm picking this level is because I still don't want to disregard the 1 minute time frame structure where prices reacted to before. And this is where that candle can create that wick, come back, and then continue bullish. Does this make sense? You want a simpler idea without me having to give you my thought process? You want a simpler way to trade and how you all will get to eventually, right? This is how you think. This is how I think. But I'm trying to explain it to you because I know I'm thinking that because this is my subconscious that has led me taking this trade because I've executed so many of them. Oh man, I'd love to enter this trade at resistance, but you know what? No. I'm sure it's going to push a little bit higher. I'll just wait for that. Oh, look, it's pushed higher. It's pushed higher. Oh, the candle's red. It's pushing red. Yeah, jump in. I'm ready to take the risk. Jump in. Bam. That's it. That's my thought process. Why? Because I want to take the risk. I'm prepared to take the trade because I like it. But I like it because I've executed thousands of them. In the last 3 months on gold, I've executed over 340 trades. Do you understand? I like it. If I want to sell now, is it wrong? No, because if I want to sell it, I'm selling it because I like it and I'm prepared to take the risk. But of course, I'm like it because I've taken these trades over and over again. I know what to look for. But this is not what you would call a perfect entry. This is not what you would call a strategy. This is not what you would call your ideal setup. It is just how you feel about that trade when you feel the trade is set up to take it. Do you understand? And then you add a little bit of the parameters in place and your knowledge and experience and say, yeah, this is fantastic. Do you understand? And I'll be honest, traders, if there was such a thing as a perfect trade, then don't you think the stats would be a little bit different? You know what I mean? 75, 80%, 90% of traders fail. Don't you think things would be a bit different? Or this candlestick Bible, come on, man, get off my back. If it was that easy, wouldn't we all just memorize candlestick patterns? Wouldn't we all entered here? You know, you have to have that feeling inside. And I'm just going to say now, if somebody took this trade and they look for the sells, go to 90% of other trading gurus and mentors, and they'll say, oh no, it was a shit trade, you shouldn't have taken it there because you should have waited for the stop hunts to be run out, because this is the OBC zone and this is where we expect price to sell, because we can see it's a round number at 74.70, and this is the backs they're going to give you. But this is not true. Well, it might be for them, and it might be, but I don't care. The point is this: if you wanted to take the sell and you lost, you just lost a trade, man. And if you wanted to take this because it's part of your plan, because price has peaked at a major key level, which we see over here, and you took this sell, then it's amazing. The problem is with traders, right? Problem is with traders is that you will sell this and lose and now start panicking and fearing because you've lost money. And the pain of losing that money forces you to try to get that money back, right? What happens is you jump into this trade, and the minute price pushes in your directions, you close profits, because now you fear the pain of not being able to get back to break even or making a little bit of money. But when you're losing, you're prepared to risk more. But when you're winning, you're not prepared to stack your positions and hold them up. Do you understand? If you can reverse engineer the way you think in terms of chasing losses, meaning potentially losing more, to I'm now in a winning trade, fuck the best strategy and so-called patterns, let's add to this position, add to this position, add to this position. How much more successful and richer do you think you will be? Who talks about this though? Nobody talks about this. Everybody's about, oh, let's risk 0.5%, 1%, blah, blah, blah. And when you lose, etc., then, you know, be a bit more careful. But the problem is, traders, you have to understand, when you're losing, you'll chase it till you can get it back. You'll do anything in your power to get your losses back. But when you're in your winning trade, you will never add to this position, ever. Never, ever will you add to this position. Furthermore, you'll be taking 50% off here, 80% off here, and then running 20% and then bragging that you hit a 10-hour trade with 10% position. Do you understand? So we've got to start thinking differently. Do you understand? We've got to start thinking differently. You all can admit it. I can see it on your face, even my mentors' faces. I can see it, you know, and I've done it in the past as well. When I'm losing, I'm like, I'll do anything to get my losses back. Do you understand? Anything. Even if it means holding my stop loss open for a little bit longer, I'd hold it. But it's so crazy. My best positions that I've been able to make a lot of money from has been from positions where I've been more desperate to get back a loss, and I'm prepared to hold it for much longer, comparable to the positions that are winning positions that I'm just like, yeah, I'm up 2R today, and then you close the positions. You know what I mean? As opposed to being like, let's add to this. As you're selling this, you're holding your stop loss, you're adding sales and sales and sales and sales and sales. But the minute you get into the right position, you never add sales. Okay? And this is where we've got to change things, traders. This is where we've got to change things. You are fearful when you're meant to be hopeful, and hopeful when you're meant. That is exactly it. That is exactly it, George. But Rox, when you're in a trade, you don't know if it will win or lose. So how do you decide which to stack on? You're never going to get the answer to that question, Miss B. No one will ever know. But let me reverse that question. When you're losing, how do you know that adding to your losing positions or open up your stop loss will be any more beneficial to you than just closing a position? But you still do it. The majority of traders still do it. You know what I mean? So if you just reverse engineer that and do it in the opposite way, then you'll make money. And like I said in the beginning, if you want to become very successful, you've got to learn to deal with that, those emotions and those feelings of being uncomfortable. So what does that mean? When you're winning, add. How much should you add? That's your business. I don't really care. Just know what you're going to lose and accept it. Because listen, let's say you take this position and sell it, and you add again on down here, and it comes back and stops you out. You're now down 2R in theory. Let's say you do it again, and you sell, and you sell again, and you sell again. You're now down what if it stops you out? 5R. But now imagine you take this position, right? You take this position, and then you stack it. You stack it again, you stack it again, and you stack it again, and it hits 5R, 4R, and 3R. You're now way more ahead of your losses that have been recouped, from that winning position and in profit. Do you understand? But the problem is because, does that make sense? Did that make sense? Yeah. But because you're so focused on your short-term gains as a reflection on your so-called stats, I need a 60%, 70% win rate. Box to all that, traders. Be happy with a 30% win rate or 25% win rate. As long as you're making money, that's all that matters. All this fucking statistic shit that you're seeing. Oh, let's see what kind of win rate you got. Let me see how much your drawdown is. Shut up. Listen, you're here to just make money. The problem that makes trading hard for the majority of you is the fact that you do challenges. That is the hard thing. Yes, it does provide you discipline and guidelines and everything else, which is fine. But in terms of when you, in the future, once you start trading, 3%, 5% drawdown is normal. Do you understand? It's normal. You can't make big money without investing big money. Do you understand? This position is just flying, boy. Let me just close out one of my positions. Damn.
Actually, I usually stack up, but I think a little different than what you think. And I think there is a very thin line between gambling and stacking up.
Yes.
I think that's the limit of losing in a day, I think.
Yep. Oh, wait. So I will talk about that in a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, but that's a very good point, though.